So we'll start now, and now we're going to deal with calculation views now. Okay, today. Okay, boss. So we are good with attribute view and analytical view. So today we're going to focus on calculation views. Okay, boss. See, basically when you say calculation views, when you execute the calculation views, it is going to use the calculation engine. For attribute view, it uses join engine, and for analytical view, it does use overlap engine. For calculation view, it does use calculation engine. So when you look at attribute view, when you want to simulate master data view, you go with attribute view. When you want to build a star schema view by referring to fact table and the single fact table and measures, you go with analytical view. Now, when do we go for calculation view? Whatever you can achieve with attribute view or whatever you can achieve with analytical view can still be achieved with calculation view, and much more complex scenarios also can be achieved. The logics or the modeling options, what you're trying to achieve with attribute view or analytical view can also be achieved with calculation view, and much more complex scenarios also can be implemented with calculation view. Apart from these, what is the main flexibility you will have with calculation views? Referring measures from multiple fact tables. If you look at analytical view, you can build your model by referring to the measures from a single fact table, which is treated as a central entity. But when it comes to calculation view, I can build a model where I can refer to the measures from multiple fact tables also. That's the main point which differentiates your analytical view capabilities and make yourself. Yeah. So the capability of referring measures from multiple fact tables in the calculation view makes it the difference between the analytical view and the calculation. That is one. And one more option is when you get into calculation view, we have two modes. One is graphical mode and scripting based. So calculation view gives the flexibility of creating a model based on SQL script. We call that a scripting based calculation view, which we do not have this flexibility in attribute view or analytical view. So these two options makes it a difference when compared to attribute view or analytical view. One is leveraging measures from multiple fact tables, and one is the flexibility of implementing scripting based calculation views. But all the logics what you can achieve with attribute view or analytical view can still be achieved with calculation view, no difference. And you'll have much more complex scenarios. Complex modeling options are also available. Some of them would be this, referring measures from multiple fact tables or implementing scripting based calculation views. Okay, and that's where there is some concept called HANA Live. When I say HANA Live, it's like it is like ready-made modeling content delivered by SAP to speed up the implementation projects. We call that as part of RDS, Rapid Deployment Solutions. SAP has given some ready-made views for you, which is treated as HANA Live. So if you look at this standard content, you see everything is a calculation. So SAP has implemented all the scenarios by using calculation views itself. Yeah, we'll see that. So calculation view is the critical one, the major important one. So, and also one more point what I observed is when you look when I see the versions, SAP HANA version from SP 7, 8, 9, there has been a lot of improvements in calculation view rather than in attribute view. They've not done much improvements in those views, but in calculation view, I see a lot of improvements. So assumption is my assumption. That's it. This is not a rule. So most of your modeling options in the real time, you would straight away get into calculation because you can achieve anything there. And that is what I see in RDS or the ready-made content delivered by SAP. So calculation is going to be the most critical one or important one for you. So in future, they might say instead of having attribute view, analytical view, all this, you'll have only one view. Might be like that. So straight away you achieve anything with calculation view. That's how they're going to target it. Okay, but there's one point where analytical view is better when compared to calculation view. One is this point. Look at this. The performance of the operation called star join or the aggregation behavior are inferior to analytical views. So this concept of star join or aggregation would be more better in analytical view rather than calculation views. Okay, we'll see these options later. But okay, boss. Down the line, no. That is my assumption. Someone is asking me down the line, attribute view and analytical will be absolute. There's no my assumption. That is nothing to do with the roadmap of SAP or something, because the way I see SAP giving more options, improvising calculation, but not doing much of improvements in attribute or analytical view, I see that their focus is more on calculation rather than those. But I'm not saying they'll be absolute. No, not mandatorily. I'm expecting that's it. Okay, boss.
Sir, how then a reusability concept they can avoid if they try to obsolete attribute view?
Means I didn't get you.
When we use attribute view, that view can be used. It is a reusable, right? That we discussed.
Yeah.
Any number of times that you can use in analytical view or calculation view, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Attribute view is not. I am just asking with a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
How they'll overcome that reusability concept if they obsolete that.
Good question. So if it is analytical view, you have to go with attribute views. But when it comes to calculation view, I can use a calculation view within another calculation view. So what did I say? I said the logic of attribute view can be implemented with analytical view. So what I'll do, I'll create a calculation view with the same logic of attribute view and reuse in all other calculations. I can do that.
Okay.
We'll see that. We'll see. First, let's get in details of this. Then we can discuss which is better, when to go for what. Yeah. Because you should know all the capabilities of calculation view. Only then you will be in a position to decide which is better. Yeah? You will tell me at the end of the class that we'll go with calculation view. Yeah? Okay. Okay. My question is, in analytical view, can you build a model where by referring measures from multiple fact tables was? No, right? No. Measures must be referred only from single table, which is considered to be the central entity. But what if my modeling requirement, we have a requirement which says we need to refer the measures from multiple fact tables? Then the only option would be to go with calculation views. Say for example, I have the contract data, then I've got sales order data. From the contract data, I need to fetch in my contract volume. Then from sales order data, I need to get the sales order volume and compare what was the total agreed contracted volume and how much was delivered and what is still balanced. Then I need to refer the measure one from the contract table. I need to refer one measure from the sales table and then join them. I'll not be able to do with analytical views. So I end up going with calculation views only. Okay. So look at the point here. If you remember, for attribute view, the property data category was dimension. which was restricting you to have measures into it, right? For analytical view, the data category was cube, because of which we were allowed to have measures into the views, right? So those data, we never had an option of changing that property. In case of attribute view, data category was fixed as dimension. In case of analytical view, the data category property was fixed as cube. But when you're creating a calculation view, you have the option of choosing what type you want to create a calculation view with, what data category, whether dimension or cube. So now this gives you flexibility to create a calculation view similar to attribute view or calculation view similar to analytical view. Say, for example, I would like to create a calculation view similar to attribute view. Then I'll say create calculation view with the data category as dimension. If I want to create a calculation view similar to analytical view, then I'll say create calculation view with data category as cube. So I can change I can control the property called data category here. Okay, now let's see this. Let me show you models. Let me create a calculation view. (001), the name of the package under which I'm creating the calculation view, and the type of calculation view is calculation view. This is like copy from. We'll have subtypes of calculation. I'll come to that. We can have standard or time, like similar to your attribute view, where we have standard, time, and derived. For calculation, we'll have only standard or time based. We'll come to that. Let me just go with standard only. Now here in the type, you'll see graphical or scripting based. Now this will tell you. So while creating calculation, I can go with graphical mode or scripting based. So we can create graphical based calculation views or scripting based calculation views. We do not have this flexibility in analytical view or attribute view. Then I have this property data category here. Look at this. Cube, dimension, or blank. Okay, boss? Get this very, very important. If I select the data category as a dimension, you will not be allowed to use measures in this particular view. So when you create a calculation view with data category as a dimension, you will not be allowed to use measures into that view, and no reporting possible. You cannot do reporting on this calculation view, and you will not be able to use any measures into it also. Now there is also data category as blank. You just leave it blank. So when you leave it blank, you will be allowed to use measures, but no reporting allowed on top of that view. So for any calculation view, you set the data category property as blank, you leave it blank, then you will be allowed to use measures into it, but you cannot do reporting on this particular view. Yeah. Now when you select the data category as cube, you will be able to use measures from single fact table, multiple fact tables, whatever it is, and you will be allowed to do reporting on this also. Okay, boss? That is how you can control the property of data category. Okay. Now when you go with cube, you have an option called with star join. We can also bring in the star join. I'll show you that. Okay, let's say let's just take something. Say finish. You get into the screen. This is our calculation view. You've gone through this calculation views in YouTube. Yeah? At least you know how it looks like. So this is how. See, in case of attribute view, the scenario block is fixed. You'll have a semantics and data foundation. In analytical view, you will have semantics, then you'll have star join and data foundation. That is all fixed. But in calculation view, you can build your own scenarios. So they have given you different set of nodes like join node, union, projection, aggregation, rank. We'll deal with this. What is what? Just get this out. for now. Okay, I'll explain you these options. Let me explain those and I'll come back to this again. So what are the different operations? Each node is one kind of operation. So what are the different kind of operations we can use in building up the scenario for calculation view? Because there is a print mistake in this SAP screen material. Here it says union, but here it says join. Here it says union, here join here. So there's confusion. So, okay. This is about union. So you don't take this icon at all. This should be up and this should be down. Okay. Now first one, union was. So when do we use, what is the purpose of this union operation? Basically, let's say you have two result sets or two data sources or two objects, and I would like to unify both of the result set. Say result set 1 plus result set 2. Say I have a table which is giving me sales of 2010. There's one more table of sales of 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. Each year I've got different tables. So I would like to do a consolidated reporting for all the years. Then what I need is, I need to say, I need to have the logic where I say result set of sales from table 1 plus table 2 plus table 3, and I need to combine all those. So that is where I use union operations. Very, very important point. Union operation can take n number of inputs. Let's say I have 5 data sources. All the 5 data sources can be acting as an input. Union operation will unify the entire result and gives it as one result set, one output. So union is like an operation which takes in multiple data sources or multiple result sets, combines the result and gives out as a single result set. That is what union does. Remember, for union, it can take n number of inputs. Okay. Next, join. They're like, you know about joining about two result set. Like, so let's say my data has been split across two tables, and I would like to establish relationship and fetch data from both. Let's say I've got contract data and then sales order data. For a contract, I've got certain sales orders. In the sales order, I have a contract ID through which I need to join to the contract tables. Then I can integrate both the sales order data and contract information. In that case, I need to perform a join. Okay. And we use this join operation when you want to join multiple tables. But each join operation can only join two tables only, two source objects only two result sets only, two data source objects. So join operation can take only two inputs, and it will perform a join between those two inputs and gives you out one result set. Say for example, I have a requirement to join 4 tables. Then what I'll do, I take table 1, table 2, join them with the join operation, get the result, connect this result to another join and join with the table 3, then take this result of second join and then join it, connect to another join and then connect that to fourth table. So that you need to have multiple join operations. If I need to join 4 tables, you need 3 join operations. So each join operation can only consider 2 result sets as the input or 2 data source objects or 2 objects as a source, and it performs a join and gives the join. Could be inner join, left outer join, right outer join, text join, referential join. All this can be done now. Okay. Next is your projection. The purpose of projection is just simple. There are 2 possibilities you can do. One is applying filter. Only let's say, you remember in the data foundation of attribute view or analytical view, you're able to apply filter. That is what filter, like it is similar to applying a where class. Yeah? For example, I have a table which is giving me data for multiple regions. So I just want to refer only for say EMEA region. What I'll do, I'll just connect this table to the projection Then within the projection operation, I'll apply a filter on the region for EMEA, and then output of this projection will only give you data for EMEA only. So that is one purpose of this projection. And one more projection, one more requirement is, let's say I have a table with say 500 columns, but my view was intended to access only, let's say, 10 columns from there. Then I can use projection. So I'll connect this table to the projection node, and with using projection, I'll just project only the 10 columns as an output, and from only the next level operation can only consume those 10 columns only. So when you want to restrict the number of rows, row level restriction by applying filter, or when you want to restrict the number of columns of the table, that's how you basically, when you want to create a subset of the result, you go with projection bus. So by using projection, you can apply filter and rows, filter the rows as well as columns. Okay, there is a point you may not understand now, but look at this. When projection is used as a default output node, I cannot apply filtering. When I say default output node, look at this. Now, when I'm building this calculation view, I never brought in this projection. By default, this projection node has come in. The node just below the semantics, we call this as default output node. In the default output node of the projection, we cannot apply filtering. Okay. The general purpose of projection is we can apply filter on the rows and columns to be projected. But in the default output node of the, which is projection node, we cannot apply filtering. Okay. Next, we have, and the projection can, so if this is the operation, projection takes one input and it gives out one output. Only one object or one source, one result set or one data source as the source, and it will have one output. That's it. Next one is the aggregation node. We use this aggregation node. Again, we can use the aggregation node for applying filtering. Same like projection, I can apply filter. And also when you want to perform the group by function, when you want to aggregate your measures with respect group by certain attributes, then we go with aggregation. Let's say I have sales order data with customer and net sales. I'm going to have one customer performing n number of sales orders. If I just project customer and net sales, I get to see multiple records for the same customer. But in fact, I would like to aggregate those records. Then what I'll say? I would say sum of net sales group by customer. So when I want to perform this kind of aggregation function, then we have a node called aggregation node. So we can do filtering. We can also do aggregation option. Two things can be done at this operation. And this again takes one input, one output. It takes one result set or one table or one data source object as source, performs this operation of operation and projects the result as single output. Only one input, one output. Same way here. When I use aggregation as a default output node, we cannot do applying filtering. For example, when do you get that? See, this was a calculation view. What I created with what data category here? What was it? Dimension. Yeah. Now let me create one more calculation view. I'm creating this time with cube. Okay. So if it is cube, you get the default output. What is the default output node? This time aggregation. So in the default output node of the aggregation, I cannot apply filtering. We cannot apply filtering in the default output node of projection, or not even in the default output node of aggregation. Yeah. Now suppose if I create calculation view with blank, then also it also gives you projection only. ZCV003. Again, the default output node would be projection. So depending on the data category what you choose, the default output node changes. If the data category is dimension, you'll have projection. If the data category is blank, you'll still have projection. But if the data category is cube, you'll have the output node as aggregation. But if I create a calculation view And when I go with dimension, you don't have this checkbox enabled with star join. But when I go with data categories cube, I have this checkbox just with star join, which enables me. Look at this. Now the default output node would be star join. Look at this. Like analytical view, I can get the star join. So when you say data categories dimension, it is just the projection. When you just say data category is blank, you will still get the projection. When the data category is cube, you will get the aggregation. When the data category is cube with star join, you get the default output node as star join. Now what is my intention here is, see now in projection or aggregation I can apply filtering, but the filtering is possible. Filtering is not possible in the projection node or aggregation node when it is used as a default output node. Okay. So both projection and aggregation just take single input only and they give output. But the kind of operation aggregation does an aggregation of the measures based on the group by function of the attributes. Projection just projects certain columns or certain rows from the projection node. Next we have the rank node. Which is basically used for ranking. You know about rank, like top, 3, bottom. It could be top, bottom, anything. You basically sort based on certain measures and say I want to see top 3, bottom 3. That's where we use the rank operation. This again takes a single input and does the ranking and gives the output with the ranking results. So this again takes single input again. So when you look at this, projection, aggregation, rank will just take single input and it will give a single output. Join will take 2 inputs, performs a join on those 2 inputs and then gives out the result as single output. And union can take n number of inputs. I can union multiple results, not 1 or not 2, n number. Okay. So basically when you look at filtering can be applied only on a projection or aggregation, but not on the default output nodes. So you understand the operation. So based on the modeling requirement, you'll have to start using these operations and configure the operations and build up your model. Okay. And when it comes to this data category property, when you're creating a calculation view, based on the data category what you choose, the default output node keeps changing out. When you create a calculation view with data category as dimension or blank, you get the default output node as projection. When you create a calculation view with data category as cube, you get that as aggregation, default output node. When you create a calculation with a cube and with star join, you get the default output as star join, where you can simulate something like your analytical view when you want to build a star schema view. So did you understand about the data category property and what? Okay. And the operations. So next is so you know about data category property. Next is when you're creating a calculation view, we can have see cube, dimension, blank, and star join. Okay. And the 2 ways of creating a calculation view, which could be graphical mode or scripting based calculation view. So we use calculation view to implement complex scenarios. Now next, this is very, very important point. Now tell me, while creating attribute view, what objects can we use to build attribute views? What are the data source objects we can use to create attribute views? Yeah, yeah. What is it? What are the data source? Not tables. Column store tables only, because we cannot use row store tables. We can only use column store tables when creating attribute views. Yeah. Same way, what objects can we use while creating analytical views? What objects or what data source objects can I use while building analytical views bus? Yes. We can use attribute views
Attribute
and
views,
store tables only.
column store.
Yeah, don't say tables, attribute views and column store tables only. Okay. But when it comes to calculation view, look at this. I can use attribute views in calculation views. I can use analytical views in calculation views. I can use column store tables or row store tables also, but row store not directly, but indirectly. I can write an SQL on that and get that. But for now, just I can get the column store tables. I can include column views also. Say, for example, we have some column views in schema, catalog object. The column views also can be used into calculation views. Yeah. And there's something called table UDF. Do you know what is table UDF?
Which returns the table
Yeah.
type as output.
What was it?
Which returns the table type as output.
Sorry, your voice is very low. Hello?
Sir, which returns the table type as output, sir.
Yeah. So we remember when we discussed about procedures and functions, I said scalar functions and table UDFs. Table user defined functions. Any function which is returning a set of rows, any function which is returning a table type will be referred as table UDF. So table UDFs also can be used into calculation views. So all this, I can use attribute views, I can use analytical views, I can use column store tables, I can use column views, I can use table user defined functions also into my calculation views. Okay. And what are the different?
And the calculation views as well.
Yeah, calculation view as well. Excellent. I can use calculation view into calculation views also. Yes. Yeah. And next, see, when you go in graphical mode, we see different operations like union, join, aggregation, projection, and rank. Okay. And next, very, very important point is, let's say you're able to create a calculation with graphical mode. You're able to create calculation with scripting based, right? We know individually. Now the point is, can we use scripting based calculation view into graphical based? Because you were saying I can use calculation view into calculation view, right? Yes. Now the question is, can I use scripting based calculation view into graphical? Can I use graphical based calculation view into scripting? Is the question. Both the case it is yes. I can use the graphical mode calculation view into scripting based. I can use scripting based calculation view also into graphical. Anything. Both ways is possible. We'll see that. And next, one more. There's also point. Say it's not about using. Suppose if I create a scripting based calculation view, I can migrate it to graphical based also. Let's say once I create a scripting based calculation view, I can migrate that as graphical based calculation view also. We'll see those options. And we can create hierarchies in column calculation views. Whether the data category is cube or whether the data category is dimension or blank, we can create hierarchies in calculation views. Okay. See, if we see, this was with, I think the third one was, this is with cube. This is with cube, right? I see a create button here. So even though the data category is cube, I can still create hierarchy. Whether the calculation view is a graph cube based or dimension based or whatever it is, I can still create hierarchies in calculation views. Okay. We'll discuss these options later.
The graphical can be converted to SQL based.
Graphical, there's nothing, no option like converting. Once we'll see.
No.
Don't take everything at time. I'll take through. Yeah. When you want to take graphical into calculation view, it's not about converting. Say you create a graphical calculation view, okay, and you know that every time you create a view, it does generate a column view in this big schema. Yes. So when I write a select on that column view, it's like what? Using this graphical into scripting, right? I develop a scripting based calculation where I say select star from the column view, which is generated from the graphical calculation view. It's like almost like using the graphical into scripting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but when it comes to scripting, you will have two options. One is save and migrate. Migrate means the scripting based calculation gets migrated as graphical. So we'll see that option. Yeah.
Oh,
So data category should be fine now. Cube, what? Measures are allowed, reporting is allowed, and default output node, when you go with cube, default output node will be aggregation. When you say data category as dimension, no measures, no reporting, and default output node is projection. And in the default output node of projection, we cannot you do filtering. Next, blank, again default output is projection, measures are allowed, but no reporting is allowed directly on it. Okay. And you have an option with star gen, which will bring in the default output as star gen, where you can build the star schema view. Yeah. But the performance of star join is much more better in analytical view than calculation view. So any doubts till here? Yeah. I've not taught you anything. I've just gave you an introduction about what all options you will have it in the calculation.
Sir,
Yeah.
if you compare with BW, this calculation is similar to multiple provider and
No.
this one composite provider.
Not exactly.
So we can
simulate like
relate. We can relate.
you can relate, but not exact, because see, my analytical view is also virtual here. When I say analytical view is like cube, may not be because analytical view is virtual, but cube is physical. But logically, that's how the design looks like. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at that you
Sir?
will derive a statement saying, "Sir, cube and analytical view and calculation and multiple are fixed." Only.
No. Fixed card.
Yeah.
Just to interrelate.
Ante. Yeah. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
as we cannot use attribute view for reporting, and also the calculation view with the data category as dimension, we cannot use it for reporting, right, sir?
Yes.
So in that case, if I want a customer master report,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of master data report, so how I can achieve that, sir?
Good. I think this question was already raised by someone when I was dealing with attribute views. So what I've done is, see, look at this. I've created one view which says BP reporting, where I'm using the master data tables in analytical view. It will not have measures, right? I've just put some dummy measure as counter, and I've brought it, and then I'm able to do reporting on this. This is what you wanted, right? This was raised by someone who, while dealing with attribute views. So what I've done, I've taken the business partner table and the address table. I've built my address, all those. Since my analytical view expects at least one measure, I've just built some calculate column as counter, just put as 1, some constant which will give it as like record counter. Then I'm allowed to do reporting now. Yeah?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have another question, sir. This
Yeah.
question actually you only raised it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So as we can achieve all the attribute view functionality through calculation view with the data category as dimension, so why we need another attribute view?
Good. So to answer that question, we need to finish this calculation, then you'll be able to answer me. Yeah?
Okay, sir.
Let's finish this calculation completely. Then, because I told you, we can use attribute views, analytical views, all this, right, as a source in calculation view. But there is again some restriction where attribute view can be used, or where a calculation view can be used. There's some restriction. Let's see that. Then we'll see. Okay, in this particular scenario, attribute view makes sense. In this particular scenario, I don't really have to go with that. Then we can clarify on it. Yeah.
Okay,
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, if data category has blank, that we can create the calculation view, but that is not available for reporting, right, sir?
Yeah, you can include measures. Measures are allowed, and no reporting is allowed.
So in that case, in which if we are creating data category as blank, so the reusable concept only we need to create, or in which case we will go?
The concept reusable, exactly. It says when you're including measures and you're not doing reporting, then why should I do? So will that be an option for only for reusability? Yes. So all this kind of attribute calculation views which are created with dimension or blank can only be make sense when you're trying to reuse them into other views. So I'll create a calculation with blank and have measures, include them into another calculation view of data category cube, then I can be enabled for reporting. Yeah? Only for modularizing we can do that. Yeah, okay. Okay. So just to make you comfortable with this screen on calculation view, so what I'm trying to do now is, you remember we have that scenario of sales reporting. We wanted business partner, we wanted the time, we want a date, year, all those. Then we wanted product, yeah. Then sales header information. Then we want to join all of them into the fax header, sales order item table. Then do reporting on it. So I'll implement that scenario again with using calculation views, but in two ways. One is one way using multiple calculation views and leveraging them, reusing them, and one with all in single view bus. Yeah. First one, I would like to go with multiple views being leveraged into it. So what I'll do, first I'll create one calculation view, which will be projecting me for business partner, ZCVBP001. Same, whatever I could achieve with attribute view of business partner, I'm trying to go with calculation view now. Calculation view, standard is fine, and I'm going with graphical. Data category, I want it as dimension because I'm not using any measures. It's more like an attribute view, so finish. So the default output node will be projection. So I'll just take it like this. I'll take a projection node. I would like to project a table, SAP.HANA.demo. Demo, then I'll just take the address table. So I want to project only some columns, country, region, that's fine, city, and I just want to filter on. I would like to apply filter because I would like to apply filter and only for EMEA. Okay, so I can rename this projection as address details. Then I want one more projection. I take the projection of the business partner table. Just keep seeing how is it I'm using those operations. I want partner ID here, and I want address ID because if I don't have address ID, I'll not be able to join to this. Then the name of the company. That's fine. I'll just rename this as BP details. The next is I would like to basically combine both of them with the join operation. I'll take the join. Okay. Add this input one, source to join. I only can take two inputs, not more. So I've got both this. Now let's perform a join. You can right click and say create join. Very simple. Just take the parent table, which will be my, I can say join it on the address ID to this. So you can go with inner C. Very, very important. Sorry. In the join operation, you can only use this inner, left, right, text, no referential bus. Referential join is not allowed here. Only inner, left, right, and text. I'm okay with inner join. And then from after the join, what all you want to project? I want partner ID, company name, then country, region, and the city. That's all. And just take all this to the projection. Just project all this. I can use a shift button, then select all, and then say add output. Then go to semantics, say key field, data categories is dimension. We'll discuss on this later. And then if you want, I can create hierarchies if required. Level based and go with region, country, city, then partner ID. You can still go with the label column here. For partner ID, I would like to associate company name as a label column. Activate. This is one view, okay. Next, I want a view for product. ZCV product 001. Again, standard. I still want it just as a dimension, graphical based. I want this time I straight away use join, add the tables. Well, there's nothing. I don't have to do anything. I just want the what products. These two tables I'll take in, because from this I just wanted, if remember the domain, I want to pick this up for product, right? So for which domain? D underscore PR underscore type, and I just want to pick the product type from here. But I want this to be, I can go solve with inner join, that's okay. Because if there are multiple things with same product, then if I see this, actually I need to apply filter. Product type. I want to see if there's anything, another case with PR. Future you might get, but PR is all unique. So I can go join, but still let the table win the projection. For this I'll use, for applying filter I need to go with projection here. So domain I'll try to apply filter only for product type, D underscore PR type, fine, and then just project all the columns. Okay. Just take this into the join. So join will have a table and the projection node, and I would like to apply a join. Or you can do a drag and drop type code to what fixed value. For language, I can I want this to be a text join, and drop down change this text join. You can set this language column. I can also do in the join node operations. Then from here I want product ID, type code, category, and I want the description, and I want to rename this description as product. No, that's okay. If you want name again, I need to join. I don't want name now. For now, it's okay. Select all this ones. Hierarchies, if you want to create, I don't need now. Just activate. Done. Then I want the sales order header information, header details about the status. I'll say ZCV SLS SDS 001. Again, I can go with dimension. This time, okay, I can go with blank if required, because if there's some measure I can use. Nothing, it's just about projection, so I'll just take projection, and I'll take sales order header. I want sales order ID, life cycle status, billing. I know we need to do it. I don't want to do those joins. Can I still use measures here? Yes. I'm just using just one measure as gross amount. Or let's not use this. Confusion. I'll remove this. Let's say you wanted to have number of headers, number of orders. So what I can do, I can just build some calculate column. Okay, sorry. So if this project will not allow to have calculated measures here. See, by default it's taking it as, I need to go decimal and then say 10 by 2 say I'll say record counter. I'll just put as 1. Okay, and connect this. Take all this. Okay. See, I'm able to use measures because the data category is blank here, but I cannot do reporting on this. Done. I get the status from here. Now I'll use the major facts. ZCV reporting. Okay, I'm okay with standard graphical, but this time I want to go with cube because I would like to do reporting and include measures also. I don't want any star join. I'm just going with normal. I just take a join first. Take the sales order item table. What do you want? I want order ID. Oh, sorry. First let's join this, then select. I join this to the enter level details of the calculation view. Enter status. So now I've shown we have been using tables. Now I'm using calculation view to one more calculation view now, and join them on the sales order ID. Then I want all of these from this. So I'm selecting one keyword from this. Oh, మనం పాటర్ తెచ్చుకోలేదన్నా. See, now I need to add this partner. See, look at this. Now I need to select here, then here, all those, right? Instead of doing all this, I can say right click, propagate to semantics. If I do this, it starts enabling it all the levels automatically. Here also selected, here also selected, everything selected. Now just to have this changed, I'll have to close this and open again so that you'll have the reflections. So now you see part right reflected. Now select this. Part right is okay. Now I want gross amount, net amount, tax amount, currency, then quantity, and then unit of measure, delivery. We missed the date, time. Okay. Let me create a time-based view also. New ZCU underscore time 001. Same like auto create. This time I'll go with what? Time-based, Gregorian, and day is my granularity, auto create. Same like attribute view time. M underscore time underscore dimension. Automated creates hierarchy. Same, nothing, no difference. Similar like attribute with times. I have this. Okay. So I'll take the delivery date. Fine. Next, I want one more join. Take the result of this and join this to partner table. Not table, sorry. The other calculation which already we built for product, right? Product ID, or I don't use this one now. For now, I just want to show you the variation. So I want to use the attribute view, which we remember we created an attribute view for product. I want to use attribute view so that we can use attribute views into calculation views. I want to join this product ID to product ID. And then I want inner join is fine. Okay. Then I want all the columns from this at output. From this, it's only category and product name. That's fine. Then I bring in one more join. I need to join with the business partner. Okay. For business partner, I just want to show you a variation. Instead of using this Z, so I can use this calculation ZCV BP00. Instead of doing that, I'll use a column view of it. So you can say add ZCV BP001. See, you get to see this. Mine was 9. Look at this here. 9 cubics pk dot models dot ZCV sysbig. What is this here? Is this a column view from sysbig schema? I can also use that column views from sysbig schema. Partner ID to partner ID. Inner join is fine. I want all the columns from this. From here it's company and city. Then control correct this to the aggregation. I am fine. Now since it is aggregation, I must say these measures must be aggregated, right? So first select the measures. These three add as aggregated columns. Quantity add as aggregated columns. Then we add one more counter, I think. Add as aggregated columns, and these are like normal columns. Select this. Add to output. So this will be grouped by fields. Right? Add to output, and this will be next. Add to output. So these will be measures now. Get it, and data propose. All those will be measures. But delivery date is not. Oh, we wanted one more, right? Sorry. Okay, we can similar way I can use my time-based calculation also, not to worry about this. Or let's use it up. Why to have that pending? Okay. I need to have one more join operation. Take this join to this join. Send this join. Apart from this, I'll just bring in my time-based calculation view and join it on the delivery date to date SQL. Okay, and get all these columns. And from here, I want year, month, quarter, week. That's okay. Then take this to the aggregation. So the aggregation now, first enable your measures as aggregate columns, quantity aggregate column, then they got counter as aggregate columns, and rest all as output, group by fields. At output and say auto assign, and I want this to be an attribute, and I create hierarchies. Let's not do that. Country. That's okay. Now since this is the data category with Q, I can do reporting on it. See, I created so many of ZCV, right? But it is showing only this for the reporting, because all others were with data category dimension or blank, so was not allowed for reporting. Yeah? This is cube, so allowed for reporting. So I can use hierarchies. Yeah. Okay. I can use normal fields. See here Y is I can do anything. Company name Avantel, you remember? But so this is your data because you filtered for the one region, so you're not getting Avantel. So like this is one way of building your models with the calculation view. Yeah, if data category dimension not allowed for reporting. When the data category dimension or blank, not allowed for reporting. Only cube or cube with star join are allowed for reporting. Okay. Next, I would let simulate same thing by using the star join now. Look at this. Let these be there. I just want to go with facts generally mainly. ZCV star join 00 reporting 001 cube with star join, I would say. Now let's build a star join. First, let me just bring in some data foundation. So okay, correct this to star join. Treat this as if it's for you to make it easy, more like an analytical view. Treat this as a data foundation. You get this here. And now let me try using that. See, you remember we created a calculation with data category dimension ZCV BP. I want to use them here. Okay. Let's say product, I have this. I am using this. So BP I can't use because I don't have the partner to join, but that's okay. I can bring in the time. Now I can use this. Or sales order status which is blank one I can use. So whether the data category is dimension or blank, I can use them as dimensions. Again, I can formulate my star schema view. Okay. So I can say product to product ID. So sales ID to sales order ID here, and then date of to date SQL. Now I have the star schema. Okay. Then get in and okay, auto assign measures is fine, and then so cube, so activate, I can start doing reporting. But one point now, let's say I want to use this attribute view into star join. Look at this now. What is happening? What is happening? Because it's not allowing me. Look at this. As a separate node, it allows, but when I try to push that into star join, not allowed. So can we use attribute view into calculation? Yes, but not into star join node. So when you're building a star join node in calculation view, you can only treat You can only refer to calculation views which are created with data category dimension or blank as dimensions in the star schema view, not the attribute views. Now you understand why I should not go with attribute views. Raghu, you asked me this question. When I have an option of creating attribute view or calculation with dimension, when will I prefer what? If you create attribute view, I'm not able to use that in the star join of my calculation view now. But if I create a calculation view with the dimension, I can use that in the star join as well as normal calculation view also. Got the difference?
Okay.
Sir, a bit confusing. Can you please explain once?
Simple. See, I have this calculation view, right? ZCV product. This is what data category was dimension. So when I have a calculation with data category dimension, I'm able to use that as the dimension in my star join. But generally, in analytical view, we were able to use attribute views in the star join, right? I can't use them. I can use attribute view as a normal source object in the calculation view, but I cannot use them as a dimension in my star join. And the question what he asked me was, when attribute view is working with data category dimension and when calculation is also working with dimension, so what makes a difference? How do I decide? So when you create a calculation view with data category as dimension, I can use that as a normal source object and in the star join also. But attribute view cannot be used in the star join, only as a source object I can use. So if this is the given option, now would you prefer creating attribute view or create a calculation with data category dimension views? If I simulate whatever you can achieve with attribute view, if I simulate with calculation with data category dimension, I can use that in any way I want. I can use that in star join or I can use that as a normal source object also, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but in calculation view, but we can use attribute view also, right?
In calculation, see, I can, if I take projection, I can use
Then you
attribute,
can use
I can
attribute view.
use that here. But I cannot use attribute view inside the star join. I cannot use that as a dimension in star join. I can use this
Okay,
as a
now I
dimension
got
in
it.
star join only in analytical view only, not in calculation.
Yeah, now I got. Thank you.
Can we use analytical view in calculation view? Star join? No. You want to use analytical view? No. But I can use calculation view normal. Say I can use analytical view as a normal object, data source object possible, but not in the star join. Okay?
Sir, in that case, we don't need attribute view at all.
That's why the ready-made business content holds everything as calculation views only. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, sir,
Mute yourself.
how would you ensure? Hello?
Yeah.
So how would you ensure that the data is getting aggregated to day level and week level, monthly and yearly wise? So do you have any criteria here? I mean, any methodology how we do in BO?
In the sense, I didn't understand you.
So basically, when you pull measures along with the week, then the data is getting aggregated to weekly level, and when you pull
Yeah.
and when you pull the measures with the year, then the data will be getting aggregated to the yearly level.
Yes, that is what.
So how do you achieve this, sir?
That is what happening with aggregation node, or that is what happening with. If you see the star join, see measures will have the aggregation function here. Some. Yeah. Like in unique
Okay.
node you specify, here it is specified here.
Okay.
So now when I go with, let's say, I've got year. Let's say I have a month. Yeah. Month. Okay. ఒకటే ఉందా వీక్లు కూడా ఒకటే ఉన్నాయి కదా ఇట్లా కాదు అది డి అది అది ఆ బిహేవ్ లేకపోతే వేస్ట్ రిపోర్టింగ్ చేసి కూడా వేస్ట్ అన్నట్టు అది మినిమం రిక్వైర్మెంట్. ప్రోడక్ట్ ఓకే. సో ఐ గాట్ ప్రోడక్ట్ టైప్ కూడా ఒకటి రెస్ట్రిక్ట్ చేసినాను కదా. అది మినిమం రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అన్నా నేను చూపించు.
You can put document data in weeks.
Sales order ID, I can show you that, yes. So this is for which sales order. If I see item, you see that. See now, the overall result of all these orders is 26,000. When I remove this item, for the sales order, it will show me 26. So that is what you are saying, right? Aggregation behavior, yes?
Yes, sir. Basically, with the let's take any dimensions along with the time and measures. If you could take the month, pull the month into the report, let's see the aggregation levels.
Because I have only 1 month, I thought I cannot show you with that. See, I have got only 1 month. No? That's a problem.
Okay, fine, sir. No worries.
Yeah. Because actually my delivery date is all common date. That's why it was same month.
Okay. Okay, fine, sir.
Okay. So you understood this now, what we're doing now, this graphical, I think start playing with them now, with the calculation view. Yeah. So we'll just take break for 5 minutes and then we'll start. Okay. Just take break for 5 minutes.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll take break for 5 minutes and then we'll start this. Yeah. Hello, we'll start. Yeah. Okay, boss. So as a next example, I just want to walk you through creating a calculation view with scripting based. Okay. So I have this ZCV sales reporting 001. Yeah. So it will have a column in this big schema, right? ZCV sales report. So which is about 9 cubics. Now this is the calculation column view. Let's say you can see the content here straight away. My interest is not only on the company name and say country and company name and some gross amount. Yeah. And I just want to go where clause on the year. I just want to implement the select. Say select. Company name. Caps. And then I want region. So not region, country. Then I want net amount. Say sum of amount from this column view, and I just want to have a where clause where year is equal to 2012 and group by so this is what result I'm expecting. I would like to build this with the scripting based calculation views. I want to achieve with scripting. So I'll say the calculation view type is scripting based. Say finish. And you'll have the script, you'll have the scenario with script view and semantics view. In the script view, by default, you'll have a table defined as var underscore out. And you write a select statement and assign the result set to this table. And whatever you assign it to this table, that will be projected out to us. So what I'll do, I'll just take this select statement. Copy. Paste this out. Edit, then also. Copy. Select company name, country, sum of gross amount as gross amount, from this column view of the calculation view, where it is equal to 2012, group by then end with semicolon. This is my code. So the result of this select statement will be taken into this table that will be projected out. Now here in the columns, I'll have to define my output structure, what all I'm going to have. Now create columns. Instead of defining one by one, I can import the column definitions from ZCV, sales, underscore reporting, from MindCubix. From here, first column what I want is company name. Then I want country. Then I want output structure with this is the output structure gross amount. Finish. Okay. So this is the output columns, and and with these columns it creates this table automatically where underscore out, and I'm filling this temporary table with this select statement. Auto assign, it's fine, and then activate. Invalid column name, what is it? Gross amount, there is an S.
Sum of gross amount.
Yeah. That's it. Now this scripting base, when I say try to see the details, it will show me the same results. Now whatever you could get this result from here, SAP 285208, SAP, here you're getting more, why? What did I say here? I said 2012, right?
I think the other one is net amount. Here we are trying to see
Hello? Yeah?
gross amount. I think the other one is net
Oh,
amount.
this is net amount here, sorry.
That is where we are.
That's okay, but some field here. So this is how you can build your scripting based calculation views. So major point to note is when you go with scripting based calculation view, by default you'll have a table with name as var underscore out. You have to define the output column structures, and with these columns this var underscore out table will be defined automatically, and you have to write a select statement which can fill this table out based on your requirement, and then project this out. Yeah, we can have input parameters, all those also can be used. Say for example, I would like to build input parameter, say IP underscore year, say direct, and I would say varchar and 4. And instead of saying 2012 year, I would like to use that input column IP underscore parameter name, right? IP underscore year. Activate. When you get in, you get a parameter. Now I give it as 2012. I can see the results only for 2012. Yeah. Now if I try to see the details, and if I try giving it as 2013, you may not get any, because I know there's data only for 2012. So there's no data. Like this, you can also use input parameters in your scripting based calculation views also. So,
sir, the fields which we are selecting using the select statement,
Yes.
and if the structure of this where out differs, will it be a problem? Say for example, where out has 5 fields and we select only 3 fields. No problem, right?
No,
Oh.
it will be a problem. So I told you when I was teaching about scripting, whenever you're filling the temporary table, the structure of this temporary table and this result set should be same along with the name of the columns. See, if I don't use as here, I get a problem now. See, it says, look at this, what it says. The structure is not same. Look at this, it says return type mismatch, because in the table var underscore out, the field name is gross amount. It is different from the attribute, and the result set is giving a column name as sum of the gross amount. The naming is different. So I'll say, so I use as operator to name it as same. You remember I told you this? And when filling the tables, I told you the different table must be having same names. You remember?
Yes.
That's why I'm using as there. Otherwise, it would have given me an error. Now again error. Yeah, okay. So this is like this way you can go with scripting based calculation views also. Yeah. I'm not teaching you, don't worry. I'm just walking you through how we create each of this. We'll get into details now later. Yeah. So now we're able to create simple calculation views, graphical and simple scripting based calculation views also. The next I told you we can use this. Now I have a scripting based calculation view. I would like to use this into graphical. See boss. Now, so first thing is like this. Can we use graphical into scripting? Yes. Now look at this. This was actually the column view of a graphical calculation view. And now with this, I proved that we can use graphical view into scripting base, because for every graphical calculation view, it creates a column view in this big schema, and that I can write a select on that column view, and it's indirectly using that graphical view into scripting base. Okay. Now the question is, can I use the scripting based into graphical base? Okay. Here you'll have the options. If you go to the corner, here you'll have two things: save as and migrate. There are two things here: save as and migrate. Now, when you say save as, what it does is, see, the scripting based calculation will be as it is. It creates a copy of this as a graphical view and gives you. And when you say migrate, this view itself will get converted as a graphical view for you. Okay. So what it actually does is, when you say save as, it keeps this SQL script based calculation just like that and creates a copy of it and converts it as a graphical. In graphical, what it does is, it actually converts all this code as a table user defined function. As a table user defined function. So what will I do? Look at this. So to do this, you cannot do in the modeler perspective. So get into HANA native development perspective. Go to Project Explorer. If you already have a project, it's fine. If not, you can create one project here. Drop down, create a project. Say create HANA application development access project. Something. Convert SQL. Not share now. I want to go with some my folder. Let me just create one local folder. So I want this project to be created in my local location and desktop. It is in this folder. Now once the project is created, right click and share this project so that it is activated onto the server on our repository. Now project is activated. When the project is activated, if you expand, you see HANA system library. Expand this. You see repository content. Expand this. Go to your package. 9cubex is your package. 9cubex pk. Just close this out. Models. And your model, what you convert is SQL. Just open this out here in HANA native development. Drop this and say save as. See now when I say save as, what it is doing, it is creating a graphical calculation, ZCV SQL graphical. I'll just rename it as graphical 001, and it's creating the logic, the coding as a table user defined function. Look at this, table function so and so. Okay, say okay. Once you do this, it creates one table user defined function here. If you go to the top, if you refresh, see, it creates one table user defined function. Only thing is it will be inactive. You have to open this out. See, it is writing like a procedure, like function so and so, returns table, language scripting begins where underscore out so and so, return where underscore out. It is not like a table user defined function. So you just have to activate this out. Yes, for activate. You can just right click. Is this a symbol? Activate. while preparing. Why? Might be it is activated, but it's not showing. Just refresh. See, now it is activated. Now once it is activated, the graphical calculation which is created SQL graph can be activated. Now it is inactive here. This can be activated now. Okay. Now I can go back to modeler. You will see SQL graphical 001, which is a graphical calculation view. Expand the aggregation. You see it is using some table user different function. Table user different function, which is actually the coding written out from the scripting here. You'll still have the SQL one, like because you have used save as option. So because you'll still see scripting based, you still see the one which is converted as graphical also. Like this, you can use save as. But if I use migrate, this itself will get converted. If I go to SQL, this itself will get migrated as graphical one. Yeah, to say like this, the view name will be same, and that gets converted as a table user different function and creates a graphical view. That is save as or migrate. So like this, I can convert. Now once this is graphical, can I reuse this view into another calculation views now? Can I reuse? Let's see, we reuse. And use this. So I'm able to use this scripting based calculation into graphical. Once I do a save as, I can start using them here. Yeah. Okay. So with this, I think you should understand now how do we create graphical based calculation and scripting based, and how can we convert it to graphical. Saying scripting based can't be reused. Scripting based CV cannot be directly reused. Yes, we cannot. Yes, because we cannot bring the scripting code into that, right? You can say save as. You can use this. This one you can do. Yeah, you're saying you don't have to worry about the view. For me, the table function is important. So I can go to this graphical view. I will not use the view. I can use this table function. I told you table function also can be used into calculation views. Table underscore function. What was your name? Table underscore function ZCV 9 cubics. See, instead of using the graphical calculation view of it, I can also bring in the table user different functions also. I told you in calculation view we can use attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, column views, tables, column tables, and table user different functions here. Now, yeah, you can do this. You can say save as and get the table function created, and once you can use a table function in my graphical calculation. Yeah. So now you can. This is the walkthrough, just giving you introduction on how calculation is created, what it is, how it is done with scripting, graphical, and how to reuse scripting into graphical into scripting. Any doubts? You tell me, because next session will be on getting into details of each of these properties, and we get drill into the view completely. Yeah. Any doubts? You can ask me now. I'm going to stop it here for today. Any doubts you can ask me, and tomorrow we'll get in details of these properties of each of these views.
No, I have a doubt, sir.
Please, yeah.
So when we are creating a calculation view using graphical view, we are that in this view we are having that column view created, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but when we are creating calculation view using SQL scripting, will the column view be created in SysBig?
Yeah. You'll have it. or ZCV SQL 001, right? ZCV SQL. See 9 cubics. This is a column view, okay?
Okay.
It is, only problem I'm not able to see because it has got input parameter, no? That's the problem, okay? I need to use a select statement on this and saying placeholder and then see the data, okay? You'll have this column view. I understand you're saying,
Thank you.
can I use this column view directly into this? That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can say, I can try to remove this and try to drag this out. Yes. But indirectly, I need to make sure I pass the value for that parameter. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just create a parameter with the same name, IP underscore here. Because if you have, no, that is the problem. When it is expecting a parameter, you will not be able to pass it through this. That's the problem here.
Okay. So we have to ultimately convert it into graphical view.
Yeah. Now the one which is converted, so now it's asking me the parameter here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
It's asking you scripting based calculation you can use for reporting depending on your data category. Your scripting will have data category here. If you say data category is cube now, right? So I can do reporting on this. What is this? Sorry, is that SQL one? What is the data category? Cube, right? So ZCV SQL 001, yes, I can do reporting on it. This CV SQL 001 is in a SQL based and you have input parameter that comes as a variable for me and say okay. And bring out country, bring out company name and okay, boss. So we can do reporting on scripting based calculation also. Next question. It only depends on the data. Sir, please correct me. Converting attribute view into converting attribute view into calculation property as dimension, then only star join will not work. Is saying if you create attribute view, I can use that into calculation view as a normal data source. Yes, but that cannot be used into star join node in the calculation view. Yes. But if it is calculation view of data category dimension, I can use it as source object as well as in the star join. Yes. Okay. Next, any other question? Next. Baburaju, scripting based calculation can be used for reporting. Yes. That's what we've seen. We can use script-based calculation for reporting. Yes. Any next question?
Sir, attribute view cannot use it in stars and calculation view, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So in that case, always better we can create a calculation view with dimension as a blank, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any?
Yeah.
So there is no need to.
End of the session, you will start creating everything with calculation view.
Okay.
Any other question?
So initially, if you create a data category as a blank, can we change later to dimension or cube?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Okay.
Say now it is. Let's say now it was something else. I can change it to blank. Yeah.
Okay.
I can change it like that. Okay.
If you right click on analytical view, one option is coming, right? Delete and activate.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is that purpose, sir? I mean, delete and activate means.
For example, this is not active. This view is not active. Right click and say you want to activate that. Sorry, that is for deleting. Activate. But okay. This is just for deleting it. Okay.
Okay. But delete when, but it is showing delete and activate. That is, once you are deleting, what is the purpose of activating and not deleting?
The bug improve చేస్తారు. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Sir?
Purpose of
Ah.
calculation view with data category as I know you said.
Yes, boss. Come on.
Sir?
He's asking.
Voice
Somebody asking something.
అడుగుతాడు వాయిస్ ఏమి వినపడలే గట్టిగా అడగప్ప ఎవరు హలో యా వినపడలేదప్ప నిజంగా వినపడలేదు సౌండ్ ఏదంటే వాయిస్ చాలా లో ఉంది టైప్ అని చేయి
Sir, can I go ahead?
ప్లీజ్ ప్లీజ్ యా
It is out of our just a portion what we are discussing. It's
okay.
Wanted to know that.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Why we always take the take this sales order all? What to say?
Because I'm more comfortable with those tables.
A retail. I mean, no.
And because my intention is about the concept, not about scenarios. Once you get the concept, you can always implement that on any tables, boss. That should not be a problem. Yeah.
Okay, so because always we try. I mean, I seen most of the times. Not you. And
because generally what that is. See, because there might be people who are from a different functional background, right? Sales is the easiest model everyone can understand. Yeah. Suppose if I start showing you something with GL, SL. Only person from FI background can understand that logic. That's the problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Because my intention is what? I need to teach you the concept. Yeah. So then I should take something which everyone
most of the times I have seen most of the times I have seen retail concept rather than we have banking, insurance, and telecommunication, etc. So I'm curious to know.
See, it depends because see. If I'm from an insurance background, I would understand when you deal with saying employee, insurer, insurance, those terminologies. Yeah, but sales is a generalized terminology which everyone would understand. That's where I would prefer that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yesterday, there was a doubt which they sent one mail. This is what their problem was. When they say problem ఇది కాదు her problem was this. She was saying now when I generally do validate, it says look at this skip the client side validations. Yeah. why it is not doing the validation from the client side? That was her question. So what you have to do that, Windows, get to preferences, and then you'll see like this, HANA, okay. Get into HANA, expand this, then modeler, then click on this validation rules, then check all, then say okay. Now it starts doing the, you have to enable what validations should be carried out. Now it does do the client validations also, okay. Next, any other question? So out of today's class topic, in catalog folder we have EPM query. Right now I'm using existing tables. I would like to upload my own flat file. Okay, good. So next question, you want like to upload his own files and then do some practice? You can do that this way. Very simple. I have some file I can upload. Say file, import. You'll have a folder called HANA content. Up data from local file. Select your system. Say next. Select your file. I don't know where my files are, but say I just select this file, heading rows, import all data. I want this into some schema, It could be new table, say table 1 something. And it does propose mapping fields, okay. Then say next, say finish. That's it. And then you should have a table in the schema. It automatically creates a table. If you go in, if you see the tables, you should see a table called table 1 and you start seeing the data. Then you can start using this table for modeling practice. Yeah. Okay. So Vijay, your question is answered. Next, Bob, so in catalog folder we see have EPM query, which converted this already. In catalog folder we have EPM query, EPM. See, this is the one. So he's asking about in the catalog folder. Apart from those, there's something like EPM models and EPM queries. Yeah. So this is not something to do with the database catalog objects. Yeah. This is something to do with the model. Normally, when you go with the database, you'll have a design. The ER models. The ER model, there's a tool called Power Designer. So by using Power Designer, you can design your database there, and when you say trigger, it creates the tables automatically. Power Designer is a tool. Instead of you getting into HANA, writing your HANA models to create those tables, by using SAP Power Designer, you can just design your database there how you want, and then set fire. It creates a table. So that those kind of ER models will exist in this. This is not for the our database. Normally, any database you have to see that model, then you get to see that ER model there. Yeah. I'm not covering that. Is nothing to cover, because if you're doing it from Power Design, then you'll have the ER model existing in that. Yeah. Right now, I'm using existing tables. I would like to upload IPN there. When we are working on analytical views, we are getting red dots beside output column symbol. Output red dots. Mari dot kuda pattichukuntate etlappa. Ekkada dots. Where in the data foundation, Saddam, or where is it? Hello, Saddam?
Sir, when we are working on analytical views, we are getting red dots on every column, every views beside the analytical view symbol. Left side, if you go under model.
Yes. Ida E symbol. Ida.
అక్కడే సార్ అక్కడే అన్ని రెడ్ డాట్స్ లో వచ్చేస్తాయి.
సేమ్ రెడ్ డాట్స్ వస్తాయి.
ఇన్యాక్టివ్ అనప్ప.
లేదు సార్, యాక్టివేట్ చేసినా కూడా అలాగే వస్తుంది.
యాక్టివేట్ చేసినా కూడా అలాగే వస్తుంది.
ఎర్రర్ యాక్టివేట్ పూర్తిగా కాలేదండి, ఏదో ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. అది మీరు యాక్టివేట్ బటన్ కొడితే అయిపోయినట్టు కదా, ఇష్యూ ఉంది దానికి. ఇట్ ఇస్ ఆల్రెడీ ఎన్కోడర్ మోడల్ అలా సోన్స్ మస్ట్ బి యూనిక్. రెండు ఉన్నాయి, యూనిక్ లేదంటుంది. The same field has been brought in twice and it's saying not unique. Okay. ఏం లేదు, యాక్చువల్లీ ఏమైందంటే we've actually created some view here and that was modified. Okay, so you have used supplier, ikkada currency undi, akkada currency undi. Just you have to rename that. Why the red? యాక్టివేట్ కొడితే యాక్టివేట్ అయిపోయినట్టు కాదు, చూడాలి. ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింటే ఏదో చూసి ఫిక్స్ చేసి పర్ఫెక్ట్ యాక్టివేట్ అయితే అప్పుడు ఉండదు సింబల్. ఓకేనా? నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్. Okay. How to export a table from one system and insert into another system? I think Naveen is asking about how to transport the objects from one system to another. Antena, that's what you're saying. Yeah, we'll deal with a separate topic about transport, but if you still are eager to know, say I have this table. Yeah, I would like to export this. You can say right click and you can say export. Next, you want to export the table including data is fine. And let me just put that into some folder in my desktop. New export table. Okay. Just finish. Okay, and let's say I delete this table. Okay, I delete this. Okay, now table is deleted. Now I want to import the table back. Import, not the table, say HANA catalog objects. Next, enter the system name. So system next, and then import from not server, from the client location. Desktop export table. So next, so the table you want, just add and then next. If there's already off table, or there's no table, I deleted in here. So after deleting again after import, I will see the table. Okay, with the data. Okay. So next question.
Sir, in round robin partition.
Round robin, yeah.
Mostly we'll use only two partitions, isn't it? One the new data enters, and once you activate it comes into partition 1.
But in case of non-fluid key figure cube, non-fluid cube, you use 3 and 4 also.
Yeah, but max it's only 4, right? You can't go beyond that, isn't it?
No.
If I create 6 partitions,
Yeah, only 4.
No point even.
Only 4. Yeah.
In real time, we don't really create tables on our own, right? We use existing tables from SLP or something. Once we replicate, we use them. But partitioning and all we apply when we create the table.
Exactly. See, round robin will be applied automatically by the application. You don't do this. And other partitions like range partitioning or hash partitioning is what we will be doing on the table for each table.
Yeah, but we use mostly those tables for our analytical views or calculations views.
Exactly.
So when we use the tables, the partitions that all work as it is a round robin or hash, that logic works as it is.
Yeah, basically once the tables are partitioned and use those reviews, it improves the performance while reading from the table.
Since we repeated from SLP, it's source system table, but we can change it to make it into partitions.
HANA break అంటే ఇస్తుంది. హలో బాబురాజు, ఈ వాయిస్ ఏదో చాలా సౌండ్ వస్తుంది.
We can do partitioning once we do SLT also, right? We can apply on the table.
SLT, okay. After the table is replicated, we can partition the table, or while the SLT is, we can configure transformations in the SLT so that while it is creating table itself, it creates partitions automatically for us. SLT dwara during replication itself, I can control it to create partitions also. Yeah. If I go, I don't know whether the server is up or not, but in the SLT, when you're doing an SLT server, no. See, two things. Let the table be replicated, then you can create partitions on the table. That is one. Or during the replication process itself, I can do some settings in SLT server so that it creates partitions on the table. I can do that. Yeah. Both options are available. How to achieve to add column to a calculation view to display the year-to-date revenue will come. That is a scenario which I'll be covering. We'll do that. Okay. See, there's something called restricted column, restricted measure. We can make it dynamic and get year-to-date or month-to-date, week-to-date, all those kind of scenario. We'll cover that. Yeah. We'll cover that.
So just now you are discussing round robin, sir. What is the concept of round robin?
Round robin partitioning was forgot. We have three types of partitioning: round robin, range partitioning, hash partitioning.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Right. Saddam sent in ACR is carried out by system, or do we need to explicitly use like PCs in? So I didn't understand what is it. ACR is carried out by system, or do we need to explicitly use like PCs in HANA?
Attribute change.
Attribute change, and he is asking, sir, whether we need to do or system automatically take care.
No attribute change in here, because there's no concept of navigational attribute, so there's no attribute change in here. If it is a HANA database, no. Okay. But if it is BW HANA, you will still have that option. Okay.
Okay. Then how to do the data loading, sir? I mean, we have PCs, right? So in BODS, do we need to do, or HANA itself take care? Data loadings.
Process change in one is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ante one is arthamaindali. So I understand your question. Your question is, let's say I would like to do a data provisioning from different system to HANA. If I'm using, in case of native HANA database, I'm not using BW. So how will the scheduling be happen when I don't have process change? Santena, more?
Answer.
So see, for example, if you're using BODS, if you're using the jobs in BODS, in BODS you can do the scheduling. Okay. If you're using SLT, it will be a real-time process. Suppose if you want to have some job to be scheduled in HANA, there are two options. One is when you go to HANA native development, just add a project, right? They have an option of creating some. Let me just create one folder. So what are the logic you want to execute that as a job? You create a procedure, okay? And then you basically create something called you'll have something called access job bus, okay? You create a file called .access job. In this job, you will basically specify your procedure name here. In the action, you specify your procedure name here.
Okay.
So you write your logic as a stored procedure. You give your procedure name here, and like Chrome style, you specify the scheduling options, whether every 1 hour or every 2 minutes, like every 5 minutes or whatever it is. And then you'll have a job administration which can be scheduled here. And this job will be running every daily or monthly, and this logic of procedure will get executed. This is one option. Yeah. And one more option is leverage some third-party tools to trigger these jobs. Okay.
People do with BODS, right? Scheduler.
See, there are two things. That's what I'm saying. See, if you're using BODS and loading data into HANA, you can schedule the BODS jobs in BODS environment. Okay. Next question is, if I'm not using BODS, I have, let's say BODS is pushing data into one table. So that is all scheduled in BODS. After this data comes into this table, I wanted to do something within HANA. So I can write that logic as a stored procedure and do an access job. Let's say I don't have BODS in my solutioning, then this is the option. Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
So even scheduling feature is also provided by HANA.
Yeah, there is an option.
No, BODS.
Yeah, కాదు BODS లో చేయొచ్చు. BODS లేకున్నా కూడా నువ్వు ఏదైతే లాజిక్ చేయాలనుకున్నావు దాని రాసి జాబ్ లకు పెట్టొచ్చు అంటున్నా. You can yeah.
See, data extraction key BODS use chestam. Loading within HANA key we'll do here, right? You mean to say?
One second.
Within HANA.
Loading work పోద్దు. This is HANA database, okay? And there is some source. And from this you want to extract and load the data. And you're saying the loading of data from source to HANA is not a one-time job, it's a regular job, right? So for loading, you created BODS. You used BODS data flows to do that. Yeah?
Yes.
And we'll have a jobs in BODS which will be scheduled. It will have a different scheduling tool which will be done with BODS.
Agreed.
I am speaking about, let's say I don't have this concept at all. I just have HANA, okay. I have written I wanted some logic to be performed and to be scheduled every daily once. I don't have BODS in my solution at all. Yeah? Even in that cases, what I'll create a stored procedure and trigger this stored procedure regularly as an access job. Okay. So when this access job can be scheduled, but you will not have so much flexibility like project chain saying this is job. Okay, this is job to link that. You don't have all those. Okay. You have some logic. I can write as a stored procedure and trigger that as an access job and schedule that to run every daily once. Yeah. But you cannot link up multiple jobs, and that is not possible. Yeah.
Okay, sir. If third parties data, I mean, various source system వచ్చేటప్పుడు how to do? That is SLT, you mean to say? Or BODS.
Schedule that as background job when it's coming from different. Which one are you using? What project data bring technique are you using? Are you extracting data through BODS from different source to into HANA? Or let's say a scenario is BW on HANA where you're using BW extraction mechanism. It goes by case. Yeah.
Okay.
Suppose if it is native HANA, then if you're using BODS, then I'll have scheduling done with BODS itself. Suppose I'm using SLT to replicate data, then scheduling will be done in SLT server. Yeah. If I got BW on HANA, I'm using BW extraction mechanism, then I can use process chains for scheduling. Case by case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Barbara, నీ వాయిస్ వస్తుంది వినపడ్డం యాక్చువల్ వాయిస్ వినపడ్డంలే చూడప్ప టైప్ అనేది చేయప్ప కనీసం you all are hearing this right? I am hearing like that. Hello?
No, we are also getting disturbance, sir, from Barbara.
For everyone.
Clarity లేదు
yes.
వాయిస్ లో క్లారిటీ లేదు చెప్పు బాబా టైప్ అనేది చేయప్ప ఓన్లీ షార్ట్ కట్ కొట్టి చెప్తా, అర్థం చేసుకుంటా క్వశ్చన్. Sumit sir, from when we start BW on HANA and extraction from different sources? As soon as we finish modeling, we are going to start with the data provisioning. After data provisioning, I'll touch a little bit on the reporting. Then BW on HANA will start. Okay. Okay.
Sir,
but don't ask me dates.
Sir,
question for me. Don't ask me dates. Okay.
Sir, all type of data categories which you are created in calculation group, those are all reusable components, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
So in that case, we can always go for cube and star jan is preferable, right? So we can use all those things in that case.
Yeah, but నేనేం ఆపలే కదా.
Okay, okay.
కానీ if you go with the cube, measure is mandatory because it will have default node as aggregation. Without measure, you will not be able to handle that aggregation behavior. It needs at least one measure to be aggregated. Yeah?
Okay.
Once we uplist the list of BW 7.0 to 7.4, the normal loads and data source extract are from processions. Will it be same process after uplist, or do we need to user data source extract from direct? No. Normal. So what I understand is he's saying he's got BW with Oracle database. Okay. He has done the lift and shift of the database from Oracle to, let's say it has been converted as BW on HANA. Now the loading will happen with normal BW extraction mechanism, or we'll have to go with direct extraction. It will be normal BW mechanism, extraction mechanism. The DXE is a different concept. DXE is a different, DXE elagante, so if you're just lifting and shifting your database from Oracle to HANA in BW HANA case, normal process chains will go through. But there will be some processes which are not required, like say delete index, create index is not required anymore on the cubes. DB statistics will not be required. So some of the processes will not be required, and some extra process will come into processes about performing delta merge will come. Otherwise, process is the one normal BW extraction mechanism will work. Okay. DXE, direct extraction, is a different concept. Direct extraction mechanism etlante, say I have this BW, okay, with some Oracle database, okay, and I have an ECC system, and now apart, so till now we've been using this as the enterprise warehouse solution, okay. Now what I want is, I would like to go with sidecar implementation. I just want to leave this system as it is, implement a separate HANA system as a warehouse. So now what is the requirement? I have a single ECC system which has to feed both. We call this sidecar implementation. So existing BW is undisturbed and you're trying to implement a sidecar implementation on HANA. In that case, what I want is, I would like to build some, and I would like to use the BW mechanism to push through this. So I still want to use this BW mechanism of data source to push into HANA. What I'll do, so we'll still replicate the data source into BW, but I don't want this data source to be used for loading into providers. I want this data source to be loading into HANA tables, HANA database. So that is DXE, direct extraction. We'll see that. I'll cover in detail, don't worry, how to configure. I'll get in details of configurations, don't worry on the provisioning. See, provisioning is always fixed steps. I can get into detail, give you fixed configurations. It will be one and same once you have the recording. But modeling is the one where it keeps differing as per the requirements. You have to be really strong. Yeah. So, Babraj, okay, you understand this, right? So there's a difference. If you're just lifting and shifting the database from BW to HANA, there will be normal extraction only. But if when you're going with sidecar implementation, that's where the concept of DXE comes in, direct extraction. Yeah. Okay. So, Salappa, any questions? Otherwise, we'll stop it here. Yeah. If you have any questions, we'll still. Sorry, today disrupted chat window. Okay. No problem, no problem, no problem. Anything else? Yeah.
Sir, PPT
How many days do we have
whatever you are discussing.
this course? Course completion. One second. Let's plan. This first together. Worst case anukunna. Worst case, let's say another 1 week for modeling. Yeah, all small options in calculation view and privileges, decision tables, we are done. And DXC 2 days, SLT 3 days, BODS. So then 1 week we need to have it for 1 week or till 18th it will go for data provisioning. Let's say 2 days for reporting. It's only basics we'll touch in. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I will need at least 2.5 weeks for BW on HANA. So 7, the 4. So might be on. Let's fix on June 5th. Yeah. Okay. On June 5th we'll be done, boss. Okay. Even
Sir, can we expect some trainings in between?
అది నాకు డౌట్ అది నీకు చెప్పలేనప్పా.
Okay.
శాంపుల్ రిజ్యూమ్
సార్ కొంతమందికి వీడియోస్ రాలేదంట, ఎవరిని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వాలండి?
పవన్ ఏది రాకున్నా పవన్.
ఓకే.
Hello.
Sir, when we look back to classroom session, you've not decided the date yet. I'm trying a lot to come back, but because even my family is in Hyderabad, so I can't wait for long. But still, I can't come. Yeah. Chappa, question is up next. Yeah. Questions unnaya? Yeah, Chappa.
Sir, which type of user cases we have a lot of options? I mean, either BW on HANA or purely HANA or accelerate HANA. Initially, we discussed HANA use cases, right?
BW HANA ఏమవుతుందంటే for people who know BW, they're just learning HANA and then they're picking that role. Okay, there is no new opportunity outside. Yeah? Say for example, you're a BW consultant. You will learn HANA from me or someone, okay, and then you'll start changing your profile saying BW with HANA. So you're the same resource of BW will be working on the same concept on BW HANA also. Yeah. So in that case, analyzing that case, majority of the existing BW consultant will get towards this BW on HANA. So there will be no new opportunity for a person who comes in freshly on this part of side. Yeah. So majority of the requirement is towards modeling and enterprise HANA, that is native HANA.
So in that case, if you are using only on HANA, so one reporting tool is sufficient, right? There is no need to.
Like this combinations, BW HANA, BO with HANA, BODS with HANA, HANA modeling, HANA scripting, lot of things like that. Yeah. But any interview you go in, ultimately, if you say HANA, they would focus on modeling and scripting. And if you're satisfying them in those two topics, then they'll say some questions on SLT and some questions on reporting. Yeah. Because there's one of our previous batch student, he attended some interview from SAP also. So the majority of the questions was on completely modeling only. Okay. And see what we I'll tell you. What we feel is modeling is about drag and drop. It is very easy. Kada? I'm telling you that will be the most complex topic in HANA, modeling. Okay. Okay. Yeah, SLT, data provisioning, DXC, that will be most easiest topics. Okay. Scripting and modeling is the one you have to handle. If you can handle those two, then rest all it's a cakewalk. మనకి డ్రాగ్ అండ్ డ్రాప్ కూడా ఈజీ అనుకుంటాం కానీ డ్రాగ్ అండ్ డ్రాప్ పెద్ద తలకాయ నొప్పి. ఆప్షన్లన్నీ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలా, ఉన్న దానిలోనే ఏ లాజిక్ ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయాలి, అది ప్రాబ్లం.
Reporting tool based on client requirement we are suggesting, or based on our existing feature, how we are deciding which reporting tool?
Solutioning depending on the reporting requirements, if how they would like to use those reports. More like in dashboarding than we are saying design studio. Now we are not going with Excel CS or dashboard designer, we are saying design studio. And self-exploration, Lumira or OLAP analysis for Excel. And general analysis or drill down, then we are saying web or crystal, pixel based perfect, crystal we are saying. That's it. Crystal, WebB, Design Studio, Lumira, OLAP analysis for Excel. Dashboard designer and all those we not use. Loop Explorer, all those are out.
Okay.
Salena Sunday kada. In Inga doubts on is there still anyone has got some doubts? But don't worry about jobs. Basically focus majorly on being perfect, becoming expertise on modeling and scripting. Bus nik package భయంకరంగా వస్తుంది అంతే. దాని గురించి నేనేం చెప్పను. Okay, they want expertise. Okay, you will get lot of questions on modeling and scripting. If you can handle that, you are good. Okay, provisioning and needs better అదే పెద్ద కథ ఏం కాదు కానీ they are ready to pay you good salary boss if you're really strong expert. Yeah, okay boss. Yeah, there was a resource like 4 lakhs ki 18 lakhs 4 years ki 18 lakhs కొట్టినాడప్ప. ఏం చెప్పాలి చెప్పు. 4 years experience ki 18 lakhs కొట్టినాడు జాబ్. అది okay, so that is like expertise important. Yeah, BO and HANA, which do we concentrate? Whichever you can become strong, that is important. Ultimately you have to be an expertise of something. Yeah, and knowledge of others. If you can be an expert of BO, focus on BO, nothing wrong. If you can be an expertise for HANA, focus on HANA, nothing wrong. But ultimately expertise is important. If you say HANA is my area, anything in HANA you should be able to handle. That's the point. That is what required. Demand ఏముందన్నా ఎప్పటికైనా ఒక జాబ్ అని ఉంటుంది కదన్నా, ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ కావాలి అది. As a modeler, do we have to know BO? See, if you know BO, it's an advantage. If you don't know, nothing wrong. But only thing is, if you're really an expert of modeler, then they would take you also, no issues. Yeah? Expertise is important. Yeah, that is very, very important. 4 years in the 18 lakhs in the salary. Yeah, you got 10 years 32 కొట్టినాడు. ఇష్టాసనం ఉంది. ఇట్స్ ఓన్లీ డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ అంటే ఒకసారి అవకాశం రావాలా, దేవుడు సపోర్ట్ ఉండాలా, మనం నాలెడ్జ్ ఉండాలి అంతే. హౌ డిడ్ యు గెట్ అంటే ఇంటర్వ్యూ అటెండ్ అయ్యి తెచ్చుకున్నాడు అంతే. పాస్ట్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అంటే వాట్ ఇస్ పాస్ట్ ప్రాజెక్ట్? His name is Ravi Teja. He was my old colleague. He was actually a BW consultant and he learnt HANA and then he break. Okay.
Sir, మీ ఫోటో ఒకసారి పంపించండి సార్.
ఏంపా
మీ ఫోటో పంపించండి సార్. ఇన్ కేస్ మీ దగ్గరికి వచ్చా మనకి ఇంటర్వ్యూకి మీ స్టూడెంట్.
నన్ను చూడలేదు ఎప్పుడు?
లేదు సార్.
Facebook లో చూడండి.
చూడలేదా?
ఓకే
Facebook is there.
ఇప్పుడు చూడు వెబ్ క్యామ్ లో కనిపిస్తానా?
యా
ఓకే. నేను ఎప్పుడు ఇంటర్వ్యూ తీసుకోను, ప్లస్ నువ్వు నా పేరు చెప్పకూడదు ఇంటర్వ్యూలు ఎక్కడ.
ఓకే సార్.
So we are not getting anything.
No. Actually, he was asking me by mistake if he's trying to attend interview with me, he's not seeing my face. It seems. So if I get to attend an interview with you, how do I recognize you? Then I showed my face. Okay, so now he recognizes me. Then next question of what I'm saying is, when you go to some interviews, don't raise my name. There is every possibility that might be a benefit, or the other side there might be a possibility that you might get disqualified also. Yeah. Okay, Napu. రెండు ఛాన్సులు ఉంది. ఓకే, better don't use. Yeah. Voice is enough to recognize. Okay, fine. Okay. సరేపా, చాలేపా సండే. ఓకేనా? ఓకే బాస్. ఓకే, ఫైన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.